Hello guys, and welcome to some more AOR IndyCar highlights, this time for the round 6 of Brno, and we're here in qualifying for our fastest lap in qualifying. And yeah, the past races have been pretty decent for us, decent results in Germany and Road America. So we're here now in Brno, a track that really isn't really a car track. It's more of a MotoGP track, but we'll do our best. Got quite a lot of slow flowing corners, so generally not really suited for this sort of type of car. But this is our fastest lap of the session. We're down the first sector, but our initial lap was a 36.3, and this is actually basically exactly the same. We matched it. It just shows the consistency of pace. I mean, just a bit of a context for you. I started doing the fastest lap I did on day 1 of practice for this was a 39. So to find 3 seconds within 2 days, that's mental. So the improvement is really there. But this lap was pretty decent. Tyres do give up quite quickly around this track if you push on the tyres too much and you get the overheating. Generally, I think overheating is a bit more noticeable with the pads, because obviously I use a pad compared to most people who use a wheel. And overheating does tend to happen more on the pad, because you have to really put a lot of rotation on the actual wheel itself to get any sort of movement. But we're up in the middle sector there, and up the left and the right, a little bit of understeer there, but very challenging. If you overheat the tyres through there, your lap's gone. You're going to oversteer and going to go off, and with the pad you're not going to save it. So that's that. And going into multiple corners, there's a fun corner down the 3rd gear, hit the apex nicely, and then this corner, last corner, I was always very sort of conservative, but with this lap I was much more confident, using all the track possible. Coming to the line now at 36.340. That's a pretty decent lap. That's P3 on the grid, which is one of our best qualifyings of the season, and it was really good. Decent lap by us, and very impressive indeed. But cutting on later on into qualifying, I went out again, and I realised that I actually went out with very little time to spare, and I couldn't actually complete this lap. But I went out anyway and pushed as hard as I dared on this lap, because there's obviously hardly any time, there wasn't enough time on the clock. So I went for another lap here in qualifying, pushing as hard as I did, and this lap was much better. And I only wish that I did this sort of lap later on, because the lap I just did beforehand, my fastest lap of the qualifying, wasn't that much different to my actual fastest lap of the session. I did a 36.3 in the early part, so I should have saved it for the end. And this lap was absolutely on it. Wasn't as good in the first sector, but then in the middle sector, I started hitting the apex here, for example, taking much more tighter lines, and this is where the car is much better. Definitely with the tighter lines, got a bit of traffic in the way in front of us, and generally tighter lines with this car just makes you faster. And now into this very tight left-right here, very slow, keeping it in 2nd gear, and the cars like to be more revved out, so you want right at the top of the rev range. That gives you a lot more top speed and better acceleration through corners. So I've been learning that technique as well for this circuit. But yeah, generally you can see I'm hitting the apexes better than I did on my actual fastest lap here, and I'm way up. If you look at the sector time here, I'm up. See, it doesn't tell me how much I am up, but it tells me that I'm faster in the 2nd sector than I was. Up this left-right, it was perfectly done, absolutely perfect, and unfortunately I couldn't complete the lap, which is really unfortunate. But I qualified in P3. In hindsight, I wish I did that lap towards the end of the session, something like that again, instead of doing another 36.3. So starting P3, really good position actually, but I felt P2 was definitely on the cards for me, and but didn't get it in the end. That's that. But for the race, it's going to be a wet one. Never really done wet conditions, and we're starting on a soft tyre. And I've always said that even in the previous races, I said that the soft tyre did seem to suit better as it got the temperature more quickly. And I tried for this race, it definitely did help with just getting the tyres warmed up quickly. This tyre is very good and it's got a very quick operating window to get to it. So we're starting in P3 right behind Brno, who's been absolutely dominating the season. Bird in 2nd place. He's normally the person I practice with. And here we go racing through the final corner, rolling the start of course, and we're ready to go racing here. And Bird anticipates the start very quickly and goes too quickly, and it's actually affected his actual race start as Brembo's gone racing. I've gone racing, I've jumped Bird already on the start, so I'm up into P2 already. Going for turn 1, the car was a little bit on the edge, it wasn't perfect, so I was being a little bit cautious, and Bird's got a decent run of us. He's probably using lower wings because he can get away with that with his wheel. He goes to the inside, I leave him the space, I go to the right hand side. I thought he had the move done, and I go and let him run the outside. I keep going on the outside, leave him the room on the inside, but he doesn't go for it in the end, and I stay in P2, and a little bit of twitchiness as well, so the car wasn't perfect at this stage. The tyres weren't operating at their natural windows, so they're still warming up here. Brembo's got away from us, which is also to be expected. He is dominating the season and he's doing a fantastic job. But this is where I'm starting to get into the groove. The car was feeling really good. I started gathering some momentum, and this was absolutely awesome. A really good position to be in. Had decent pace, momentum was there, and I just kept with, I kept in touch with Brembo. Obviously I knew he was going off, but to keep in second place in front of people who are naturally faster than me is very impressive, and I felt really consistent in this race. Pace was awesome. Really very good actually race in terms of that side of things in the drive. Felt really comfortable, and just doing a very good job. In the end of the day, I was actually sort of surprised how good the car was, but I think that's down to the soft tyres. I think the soft tyres generally at the start of the race are better, because obviously when you pit for hot softs, they're already heated, and with any tyre they're already heated up. So I might do this more often and start on the soft compound at the start of races more often, because I can get the tyres up to temperature quicker. So that's what I might do from now onwards, and go in the hards towards the end of the race. So there you go, just lap time for the start of the race, and going on to lap 3, or lap 2 technically in this case, and we do another fast lap at 37.9, 37.6 I meant. So definitely pace is there, and consistency is definitely there as we're starting to wear off the fuel. We're running a full tank for this race, the rain is coming sort of mid part of the race, so it was wise just filling the tank a little bit higher. So less fuel will be put in, and then come to lap 4 now, or lap 3 in this case, going to the line. Bird is still with us, by the way, but we are getting away from 4th place man, which was Lucky Dog, and we set another improvement of 37.3, so definitely pace is absolutely fantastic really at this point, and really has some momentum, had the rhythm, felt comfortable, tyres were working perfectly, absolutely honest, it was brilliant. Now Bird's right behind us, we can use it, push past. It's the first time we're using it in the race. Let's defend from him, he was lining us up, and 37.9, so our lap there wasn't that great. We were struggling with overheating, and he was getting closer with us in the second sector, so that's really where he was getting the time, and I couldn't really match him, so he was catching me like that, so I used to do a bit of push to pass to try and get away from him, and that worked seemingly. But that was my only time I used it really in this race, because in the rain it's not really worth it. It just gives you more oversteer in the end of the day. So superb job. We're up in the first sector once again, and the car was feeling great. Had decent momentum, felt really decent coming to the line this lap here, and coming to the line I think it's going to be a 37.0, so another improvement there once again. So fuel wearing out, we're getting much more confident, and it was awesome. I mean, I think it might have been the best start to the race. This will be the best start of the race, best start of any race this season. Just the way the car was performing, the way I had so much confidence in the car, getting it to do what I wanted it to do. It was brilliant, and honestly, it was just superb. I was very happy with it, and it was really good. But now the rain hits, I think, about this time, and we're starting to understeer a lot. And this is where the wheel users come into their own. They're able to cope with these conditions better. Whereas the pad, you start understeering much more, and you can't save the car. So I was really slow in this lap. We were coming into this lap for a set of wet tyres, and you can see Bird caught us big time up. So definitely struggling with these sets of tyres, trying to get them to the end of this lap. And the wet conditions, I did practice beforehand, but yeah, these cars are not great in the wet, and this track isn't great for these cars, so that's not a great mix, and I think everyone was studying it going into the race. We set it on, I don't know what to call it, but there's a mode where it's like realistic when the rain comes, so it's like, I think it's like the current conditions in Brno and the way it works. So it was going to come earlier. When me and Bird practiced it, it didn't come. We did it on on real time progression, but I think we did a different time progression for this race. And then the rain came quicker, and you can see it's much more wet on the track, and the rain's here. So yeah, understanding a lot. But of course, I managed, he's going straight on. So I don't know if he hit my rear end, but on my screen he didn't hardly touch me, so that was interesting. But we're coming to the pit lane, and we've switched to inters, and this is where I made a mistake. Changed tyres are on no, I changed the fuel, and I skipped past the tyres. I changed to wet, but I didn't say yes. And I come in, I didn't realise this at the time, I come in, put some fuel on board. We've already used half the fuel already. We put 70 litres on. And here we are, and we get released around about now. We get released, and we're on the soft, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I couldn't believe what was happening. I was right behind Brembo as well, and I don't think they could believe it either, and I was so angry, because I didn't realise I did it until the next lap, because I had to come in, so the game didn't change my tyres. I was like, oh, for God's sake, man. What a noob error. And again, they're making these little errors. I mean, you would have thought if you change the compound that you want going into the pit lane, it would actually give you the compound and just select yes anyway. But no, I didn't. It doesn't work like that because your cars got some traffic in the way. They're getting out of the way perfectly. The softs weren't too bad in the first sector. Like, generally the wet wasn't that wet. It was okay. But still, I was understanding a lot here, and I'm not losing too much time to Brembo. He is getting away, but here he actually makes a mistake, and he's gone, and he's been a massive error, and I'm going to try, but I can't, because I'm understeering as well. So he's really uncomfortable in these conditions too, even on his inters, or in his wets, so we say. So he's really struggling with his wets too. So that showed me something that maybe he won't be as comfortable in this race, but I've lost this race now at this point. You know, I'm having to make another stop. Because I didn't change my tyres, and that's the option. My own stupid mistake. I was getting carried away and losing that time, and I could have been up here at this point on the wets instead, and that's a really frustrating thing, because then I could have forced him into mistakes. But that's that, you know, mistakes being made. That's the way it is. We have to make these mistakes to learn from them. And at the end of the day, this is all very new. Locking up straight, going straight on, and I was like, oh, this is not great. And then coming into the pit lane here, just losing the rear, just keeping it on the track, it's not worth it. Coming into the pit lane, and we do switch it over, and here I noticed I didn't select it. I had to go symmetrical setup, and then the wets were selected. Pressed A, refueled my the car up again. Very angry and very frustrating indeed. Just annoying, and that's the way it is, you know. Making these mistakes, you've got to learn from them. Obviously, this is still very new to me, and these mistakes, and you know, I thought the race in general, I think the first start of the race was fantastic. You know, it's the best start to the race. The first 8 laps are the best things I've had all season, and if we can do that throughout the rest of the dry races this season, then I think we've got a very good shout of doing a fantastic job this season in general. So that's the way it is, you know. And carrying on later on, lap 15, LGS is right behind us now, and I've been really struggling in the wet. You know, I practiced for the wet, but it really was painful for the majority of the whole race, being pretty much from lap 9 onwards being completely wet. It was a hard race, 15 laps of it, and I'm understeering so much, trying to keep the traction in check, short shifting a little bit so I don't actually oversteer, and it was really hard. LG's right behind us now, going to the left, right. This is a very tricky set of corners here. Then second gear, really just understeering, being careful on the throttle, and look at that, look at the understeer, just I couldn't keep the car on the track with 8 more laps to go. He's right behind us now. He's going to the right hand side. I cover it off. He goes to the inside. I brake reasonably okay, and he hits us from the rear end. I turn and he hits us from the rear end. I was right to do that, but he rates it for us, and I thought it was initially my mistake, but looking back on it, yeah, I was turning in. I had the right to do that, and now I've got damaged rear suspension. So yeah, this race has been absolutely horrific in the wet. It's just hard to do a whole race pretty much in the wet conditions, and these cars don't drive very well. He's hit us again there as well. He's making mistakes, I'm making mistakes, and he's got damage, I got damage. Whole lot with damage for both of us. I probably got even more damage than I had before. So this race has been absolutely appalling, really, from after the rain has come. So, and I looked at we looked at the Tier 2 race, and their rain didn't come into the last lap because they set it on real time regression. We set it on actual time regression. And look at it, I've just gone wild again. So that's really frustrating as well, considering that the Tier 2 guys set it on real time. We set it on actual time, which meant that we could have set it on real time as well. We didn't, and if we set it on real time, I can bet we would have had a really better race. Oh, look at that. That's my mistake that time. Oversteering, and he's hit his rear end, our end, and that was my mistake. But yeah, I let him go here. Actually, I was waiting up for him to let him go, but he wasn't having any of it. So I said, tier 2 we were running real-time progression, we were running actual time progression, I think, and we could have had that too. And I think if we did, it would be more dry for the whole race, and I probably would have more of a chance of probably being on the podium. So, but I can take a lot of confidence from this race in general. Pace was superb in the dry. It felt really comfortable, and it was good. We were running really well. So I think I can take some confidence in the first sort of 8 laps that if we do that again in races, we're going to be a real threat for the podium. And the pace we had was absolutely fantastic. Momentum and the pace was fantastic in the car. But we're fixing damage now, and I think just waiting. Any time now we'll be going. See thunderstorms, it's the splashing, and in tier 2 they didn't have it, so until the end of the race, because they ran the actual real-time progression. So if only we had that, I think the race would be completely different. But that's that really. That's really the end of the race. Nothing else happens. It's just a race with P4. Like he was in front of us, he was not quick. By the end of the race, it actually was Brembo. Even though it says FJ, it was Brembo actually in front of it, because he made mistakes too. So it shows that if we had selected the right call ourselves, we would have been up there in the podium with Brembo, because he had to pit again with having damage. So podium could have been ours today, or in this race. And coming to the line now, P4 it will be, not P5. It's just wrong. Coming to the line now, and yeah, been a really hard race that, and there you go. That's the race for you, not a bad one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more and comment on the channel. P4 it is, and good point for the championship still, but waiting for that podium. Got 2 more races, because I'm going to be on the way on holiday, so I've only got 2 more races. So guys, that'll be it. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye guys.